Thank you for joining us with your 11 on 11 weekend wrap up. I'm Ashley King, and we start with a warning from the Arkansas Health Department. 8 cases of West Nile virus have been reported in Arkansas, and in at least one case, the patient died. According to the CDC, West Nile is the leading cause of disease spread by mosquitoes in the U.S. And now there are reported cases in Dallas, Faulkner, Mississippi, and Pulaski counties. After a lot of rain this week, here's your reminder to be mindful of standing water because it attracts mosquitoes.
Make sure your gutter's not clogged up. A lot of people overlook that because it's overhead. They don't see that. But if there's standing water in your gutters, that's definitely an issue. Um, Anything that can hold the smallest amount of water. If you've got some potted plants, the little tray or dish that's underneath it, that small amount of water that's under that, everything down to something like a bottle cap. I mean, it's very little small amounts of water. So changing those out, dumping that out quickly and often is very important.
And it doesn't take long for mosquito eggs to hatch. Adam says it can happen in just 24 to 48 hours. Been created a Catholic church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where a shooter fired through the windows, killing 2 children and wounding 17 people on Wednesday. Police say the shooter opened fire on students sitting in church pews during morning mass before taking their own life. The FBI is not only calling the shooting a hate crime, but one that targeted Catholics. Those details hit hard for people working and learning in other Catholic schools, including here in Arkansas. THV 11's Catherine Rowley visited with leaders at St. Teresa's in Little Rock.
It was a normal Wednesday morning for students at St. Teresa's Catholic School in Little Rock, until news broke that there was a mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, Minnesota, prompting administrators to organize a prayer service.
I had an admin team meeting today, and that was one of our first topics. And the middle school administrator, Brandy Story, said, "I think we should gather in prayer." And I said, absolutely.
Christy Dunn is the principal at St. Teresa's and said that the tragedy hits close to home for the school. Dunn said for the school, it's sending support even from over 800 miles away.
Nobody's exempt from our human nature. We don't live in a perfect world. And because it was a Catholic school, I do think that hit a little bit close to home. But when a Catholic school is going through something just terribly tragic, we want to make sure that we're there and supporting them any way we can.
Father Stephen Gadberry is the pastor at the Catholic Church and school. While the communities might be different, they are still connected through their church.
To see anything happen like this at any other school, you can feel the pain of what those teachers and staff and administrators are feeling. It's the same relationship regardless of where it's at. If someone is invested in this job and this calling, they love their kids.
Gadberry said that while the school came together today, they will continue to support the school and church, united in their faith and united in prayer.
These tragic events that happen across the nation or the world always remind us of our own mortality and the fact that we have to be ready. And so through the tragedy, it's an invitation to hope and to live for something bigger.
In Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
And false calls of active shooters have rattled universities across the country, and this week it hit close to home. A reported active shooter at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville turned out to be a hoax. It's called swatting, purposely making fake calls of a violent crime to cause large-scale police responses. As CBS's Nicole Skanga reports, the FBI is trying to track down the source.
A cruel string of hoaxes at University of Arkansas. Reports of shots fired on campus turned the first week of classes into an evacuation. The police response was real. The fear among students was real.
I got a notification from the university through RAS alerts that said there was an active shooter in the library and to stay away.
But the report of a shooting was fake.
There are no confirmed gunshots. There are no confirmed injuries.
Part of a series of swatting incidents on at least 11 university campuses nationwide, including in Boulder, Colorado, Villanova University in Pennsylvania, plus today at the University of Kentucky and West Virginia University.
It's not funny and it's not just a prank.
Elizabeth Jaffe is an associate professor at Atlanta's John Marshall Law School.
What's the impact on college campuses of these swatting calls?
Oh, I mean, it's enormous. So the freshmen were just out of high school and they're being told to barricade themselves in their rooms while the SWAT team and law enforcement comes in to confirm that there isn't an active shooter.
Since 2023, hundreds of law enforcement agencies have reported thousands of swatting incidents, adding the criminal trend, quote, drains law enforcement resources, costs thousands of dollars, and puts innocent people at risk.
How difficult is it to investigate these crimes?
Very. And I think that's part of the problem is that with the development of AI, with the ability to spoof phone numbers and spoof internet addresses, the investigation piece of it is difficult.
Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
And the clock is ticking for tenants of Willow Bend apartments in the city of Jacksonville. Over the past few weeks, we've spoken with people stuck in the deteriorating living conditions there, and city officials agreed moving to shut down the complex. THV 11's Carter Thweet continues our THV 11 news investigation into why the fight for better living conditions is far from over.
We had spoken to HUD, and the representative that we were talking with told us at that point in time that absolutely they would be able to relocate the residents that were there.
That's what Jacksonville Mayor Jeff Elmore says was supposed to happen with relocating residents out of Willow Bend apartments. The complex had become a hotspot for crime, plus poor conditions, including water damage and bugs. Then HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, told Elmore this.
It was not going to be in the time frame in which we were initially told that would happen, that it was going to be a process that would take over 120 days.
Elmore says he thinks miscommunication at HUD's regional office in Kansas City led to the change, and he called this new time frame unacceptable considering what the remaining residents are going through.
I mean, borderline dangerous, dirty, unsafe, unsanitary. You could fill in the adjective and it'd sum it up. That the 120 days, it just can't happen.
Since then, Elmore says he's been working with local and even federal officials like Senator Tom Cotton to come up with a plan, and he thinks he has one. The city will use a federal grant to relocate residents, and then the Jacksonville Housing Authority will work with HUD to get them vouchers for their new homes.
I've actually spoken to one of the residents of the apartments this morning and told her hopefully there is help coming and coming soon, that we're talking hopefully just a matter of a week or two instead of 4 months minimum.
Elmore acknowledges that this process has been difficult and working with HUD hasn't always been easy, but he hopes it's resolved soon and that this one complex doesn't represent the entire city.
I don't want it to be a reflection on the city as a whole. Jacksonville is a fantastic place, and this is, one bad incident situation that's taking place that we're striving hard to get taken care of.
In Jacksonville, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
In a statement to THV 11, HUD officials say we reached out to HUD and received a statement affirming they are in contact with city leaders to support Willow Bend residents. You can read the full statement right now on THV11.com. Meanwhile, Dollar General has closed its doors in the city of Wrightsville, leaving people without a grocery store in the area. With the store gone, people will have to drive several miles to get fresh food. The city's mayor says they're communicating with business owners to try to find a new business to move in, but they were caught off guard by the sudden closure.
And all of a sudden we saw the sign come up that it was officially closing, and that was probably like a month and a half really of panic is what it was. Not really a notice, and then working with the property owner, they were only given about 3 days notice. So they weren't given any type of notice that they weren't gonna renew their lease or that there was an opportunity to make a transition smoothly.
We'll continue to keep you updated on what, if anything, the city is able to get to fill the space. And it's been 62 years since Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. shared his dream of equality on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. This week, that same message was honored here in Arkansas with a focus on unity and the next generation. THV 11's Maya Ellison takes us inside the Capitol for a glimpse of the dream Dr. King envisioned.
My poor little children, will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Those 4 words, I have a dream, were heard for the first time 62 years ago. Martin Luther King Jr. on the steps of Lincoln Memorial sharing the message of racial equality. Today, that same message resonated throughout the halls of the Arkansas State Capitol.
This speech is a cornerstone of American history and a challenge to every generation. Dr. King passed the torch, and it's up to you as young people to carry it forward.
Inside the Capitol, hundreds of students and supporters gathered for a celebration of Dr. King's legacy, his vision of unity portrayed during this week's MLK Commission's conference.
And we're just delighted to have kids from all over the state of Arkansas come out and celebrate.
Deshaun Scarborough with the Arkansas MLK Commission spearheaded the first of its kind Living in the Legacy event.
You guys can acknowledge yourself during roll call. Are you ready? All right, can y'all let me know Little Rock Central's in the house? All the way. Somebody told me this morning. 1 hour and 15 minutes away. 4 nights Arkansas, make some noise! So it was amazing just to see how excited they were to come out and be part of this. It was more than just a field trip to them. It was more, it was a celebration of today's anniversary of the March on Washington.
The students weren't the only ones who made it special. 5 commissioners from 5 different states, all in the same room. Something that's never been done. All pushing the same message, unity.
These individuals have been in the spirit of Dr. King, promoting Dr. King for 43 years plus. So it's certainly a legacy and an honor for me to be able to establish an opportunity to do so.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
And coming up after the break, the United States is remembering Hurricane Katrina on its 20th anniversary. We'll meet an Arkansas mayor who found a home in Arkansas after the storm. Plus, a substance that you can find at gas stations or smoke shops is more dangerous than you might think. A mother is sharing her grief to prevent tragedy from happening to someone else. And one of the most viewed stories on THV11.com this week, an over-the-counter drug many people use to relieve anxiety or boost their energy is being linked to multiple deaths across the country. Kevin Reese from our Dallas affiliate spoke with a grieving mother, hoping to prevent a tragedy like the one her family is living through.
No one can ever understand what it's like to lose a child. It's just impossible.
But from her home in University Park, Elena Brooks wanted to share that impossible grief.
I almost have to trick my brain into thinking he's away at school, because when I do stop and think about the fact that he's gone, I just can't breathe. It's overwhelming.
His name was Keaton. He was 16 years old. It was a school day this past February.
At 8:29, I opened the door and I said, "Keats," and he didn't answer me.
Keaton was gone, died in his sleep. The medical examiner ruled it an accident from the toxic effects of the anxiety drug clonazepam given to him by a friend, and metrogenine, otherwise known as kratom.
Didn't even think about the word kratom until that point.
I'd never heard of it.
Kratom, a plant from Southeast Asia, sold in different forms at vape and smoke shops and convenience stores, is used by an estimated 1.7 million Americans.
You know, kratom's been around for a long time.
But Carrie Stitt at the youth treatment program Youth 180 says it has grown popular and addictive for minors.
It's just too dangerous for them to be experimenting with things like this that we don't know enough about.
There's this feeling that, well, because I can buy it over the counter or because I can buy it online, this is benign. But that's unfortunately really not the case.
Kratom-related deaths, minors and adults, are being reported across the country. And just last month, the FDA announced it is working to regulate the opioid components of the plant for the first time. The FDA commissioner saying it can be more potent than morphine. Legislation has also been introduced in the Texas House.
So that's what I would say is, okay, if it can be helpful, great, then let's regulate it.
WFAA reached out to multiple kratom retailers. Only one responded with a written statement, in part saying, "We do not have detailed information on drug interactions with pharmaceuticals. Consult your doctor, as we cannot provide medical advice." Advice and a warning a grieving mom wishes she had.
If I can prevent anyone else from experiencing that, I want to do that.
In University Park, I'm Kevin Reese.
Here in Arkansas, kratom is illegal. It's still considered a Scheduled 1 drug by the DEA, but some state lawmakers did try to change that in this year's legislative session. The Arkansas Senate passed a bill that would have set up a framework to regulate it, similar to the state's medical marijuana industry. The bill died in a House committee. This week, America is marking 20 years since Hurricane Katrina. Nearly 1,400 people died during the storm and its aftermath. Those who could left New Orleans and settled in other states to start a new life. Tonight, Laura Castleman with our sister station 5 News talks to one Katrina transplant who is still glad to call Arkansas home.
I lived in Chalmette, which was probably a 5-minute drive into Orleans.
Before he was mayor of Prairie Grove, David Falk and his family were living in Louisiana. They left just 2 days before Katrina made landfall on August 29th of 2005.
They were people that stood behind and lost families. They were people that had to escape by rooftops and wait for National Guard helicopters to come in. There were people who lived in the Superdome while I was up here enjoying Northwest Arkansas. They were just trying to find a bottle of water.
Falk says for his family, the choice to return home or start a new life here came down to resources.
If you want to go back, you had to have money to go back, and we didn't have that type of money.
Falk says he soon came to the realization that his home was gone.
Your friends are not there, your church family's not there, our jobs wasn't there, school districts wasn't there. I mean, the whole area is wiped out.
When he was finally able to return to Louisiana, Mayor Falk remembers seeing his home flooded under 12 feet of water.
So when the levees broke, we were kind of part of that tidal wave that came in. I guess you kind of feel broken in essence. The longer we stayed here, the more we started realizing we'd be silly to go back home.
Within a week, Mayor Falk and his family had chosen Prairie Grove, Arkansas as their new home. So they returned to Arkansas.
Emotionally, it was difficult. You knew that we were just in a better place up here.
Mayor Falk says his journey from Katrina was different than that of many other Katrina survivors.
I definitely don't feel like a victim. I feel like it was a crossroad for us, and God was taking us on a different journey, and glad I was willing to walk it.
Still to come here on THV 11 Plus, a story that's been making all of us smile this week, as a teen who spent nearly his whole life in foster care now has a forever family. And football is back under the Friday night lights, and one Northwest Arkansas team has a secret weapon, a lot of girl power. Those stories are next, but first, it's time to eat it up.
This is unbelievable. This is like a shocker. This is like if Arkansas State beat Arkansas in a week. This week on Eat It Up, we are in BB in White County. Y'all, this is a great little coffee shop, Theater Coffee, right here, first exit towards the town of BB. But have I got a surprise for you? This may be the most shocked we've ever been here on Eat It Up, because this is much more than just a bagel and a coffee. I'm talking a barbecue joint that is out of sight and out of this world. Y'all, I'm telling you right now, let's eat it up.
I have my CPA office next door, and that's kind of my primary job. And we had an office that came open here, and I've always had a passion for food and good food and coffee. And so about 2.5 years ago, I just took a chance, and we decided to open this little place up. My father collected these back in the 50s and 60s, and he just had them hanging around the house. And I was like, we should use those as wallpaper at our coffee shop, and it just became a thing. And I think it turned out really well. Best coffee beans that we can find in the whole world. Okay, and that's where it all starts with. Because if you don't have a good coffee bean, then you're not going to have a good drink. So, we spare no expense on that. But the food is really where I come in, because I wanted something that you can't get anywhere around here. A lox and bagel, which we get the absolute best freshest salmon you can get in the whole world. We do a Derby Cobb salad. It's got turkey, bacon, avocado, romaine lettuce, boiled eggs. So the majority of our menu items are things that you don't see or even around Central Arkansas at all. Sometimes you can't even find it in Little Rock.
This is one of the best breakfasts ever, by the way, especially when you're on the go in the morning. That is as fresh as it gets. This may be the biggest Cobb salad I've ever seen in my life. This is like Cobb County salad. It's the size of a county. Man, I love fresh lettuce, the cheese, the tomatoes, the chicken, the croutons. Breakfast tacos. Truckers talk to each other on the CB radio right here because they're saying, yo, you got to go to that theater cafe in BB and get some of those tacos before you go on your journey. Best inventions of all time. Breakfast taco. Can't miss. Have you ever seen a more beautiful plate of barbecue nachos in your life? Because I haven't. Chips are perfect. You can tell. House made right here, ready to go. And I will fully admit to you, the last thing I thought I was going to do today, entering this amazing coffee shop, was eating burnt ends. And I have never been more thrilled to be surprised and wrong at the same time. Is that a good way to describe it?
High school football is officially back across Arkansas, and for the first time ever, the Bentonville Tigers are putting a new kind of power in their kicking game, girl power. Parker Abels shows us how she's kicking down barriers.
Kylie Silly has been a member of the Bentonville football program for all 4 years of high school, but this year is going to be a little different as now she's going to be the starter.
I've been doing this a while. I played soccer almost my entire life, so it kind of just came naturally.
And while she's been the junior varsity kicker for the last 2 seasons, there's a little more expectation for the varsity kicker. However, Silly is ready for the challenge.
I would say JV, it's definitely a little bit less stressful of an environment, but I'm really excited for varsity because I can feel like I can make a bigger impact and ultimately to be more of a deciding factor between games, so I'm excited to see what I can accomplish with them.
And despite being the only girl on the team, for Sally, it feels like she's just one of the guys.
I don't feel like they treat me any differently than they do any other guy out here. I feel like this is really a family that we've cultivated, and I feel like there's a great sense of community, and we've got a lot of great talent, but I feel like pride never gets in the way of us all working together.
Head coach Jody Grant says they cheer her on just like everyone else.
Well, I mean, they want her to succeed. They care about her. She's a teammate of theirs, and so they want her. They know she can help us, and so they support her just as they would anybody else.
While football is her top priority, she also hopes to inspire young girls to show there's room for women in this male-dominated sport.
I would just tell them that the best you can do is work hard, get here every practice, work harder than the guy next to you, and that's how you're going to get to the top.
I think she's a great example for young girls that want to do something like this. You know, there's a lot of talented soccer girls, and she's an example of that.
And as the season approaches, she believes this team is ready to go and finally end the Tiger State title drought.
I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great year. We've got some great talents, got some new transfers, and I honestly think this might be our state team right here.
And before we go, we want to share one more special story from this week. A 19-year-old named Cozy has spent nearly 15 years of his life in the Arkansas foster care system, but now he's starting a new chapter with his forever family. THV 11's Brooke Buckner shows us the special moment.
Cozy, there you go. Family. It's something Cozy hasn't had in more than a decade, but that all changed Monday morning. Cozy was the longest waiting child in Arkansas foster care. His adoption into the Dietrich family is now finalized, and dozens of his new friends and family came to celebrate him.
Y'all, every single one of our waiting kids deserves a family. They deserve a community like is gathered today, and we are so grateful for each one of you.
Anna and Tim Dietrich say they felt called to be more than just Cozy's legal guardians.
The Lord made it very clear that we were supposed to all out adopt him. We're supposed to give him our name, give him our family, give him our whole hearts.
It's clear Cozy has a big support system, and it's something Anna Dietrich says all foster kids need. She sees it firsthand working for Project Zero.
Cozy's getting a whole crew today, and we're so excited. And that is what we want for every single one of our waiting kids. So until there are zero, let's start this up again tomorrow, because today we're celebrating.
Tiffany Wright, the director of the Division of Children and Family Services, echoes that.
But even as we celebrate this beautiful day, we must stay focused on the goal. Finding homes for other children who need them and the critical work of Project Zero. This adoption gets us closer to our goal, 0.
The Lord was going to have to make it clear who is ours, and He's just made it abundantly clear. Cozy is ours.
Their only child and star of the show.
First time we met with his team, they said they were telling us about the things that he really likes and toys that he likes, and they really focused in on the star. And so for some reason, that's kind of become our banner for him is a star, which is why he's wearing stars. And she's got a star necklace and star toys.
Shining bright alongside his new family. In Little Rock, Brooke Buckner, THV 11 News.
Thank you for being with us for your 11 on 11 weekend wrap up. I'm Ashley King, and we'll see you next week.